our last speaker of the day, Yogen.
How many of you here us know like what we eat, how they are produced, and do you know anything about genetic engineering? How they modify the food to make it look nicer, to preserve it longer, or maybe sometimes smell tastier. Manipulating gene will create negative effect on the mother's nature as long as our health. Modern genetic engineering just not nowadays the genetic engineering is not just limited to crossbreeding of the animals or plants. They are actually inducing new traits from one organisms to other organisms. They are inducing just the one parameters, just like from bacteria to corn or something like that. And the genetically modified food might create unpredictable problems, so we should take preventive measures before it gets out of control. The genetically engineered food are not safe for our health, and as we consume, we should take precautionary measures to ensure our future and our health. Today I'm going to talk about first the health consequences of genetically engineered food. Second, I'm going to talk about how can we select naturally grown and organic food that will help to live a healthy life. And third, I'm going to talk about how that will lead our future to be a little healthier. First, the health consequences of GE food. Genetically engineered food are prepared just like in the picture. The corn is, they took one trait from bacteria and put into corn, and that trait of bacteria kills the bugs that attacks the corn, and that actually corns are more, they don't need pesticides to kill those bugs. And sometimes genetically engineered method doesn't just change the physical appearance, they even change the chemical composition of the body. According to research done by Julie A. Norley and Dr. Steve L. Taylor and their group, identification of Brazil nut allergen in transgenic soybeans published in the New England Journal of Medicine dated March 14, 1996 concludes that the 2S album, which means the 2S gene is probably a major Brazilian nut allergen to most people. And when they crossbreed with the soybeans, it got transferred into soybeans too. So now the transgenic soybeans also contains the same allergen compound, and other research done by the Northwest resistant against the general genetic engineered food. Soy allergies is skyrocketed by 50% in the United Kingdom, and which is 7 times higher. They found 7 times higher mortality in general genetically modified soybeans compared to the natural soybeans. Most biotech companies are only focused on their profit rather than the consumer's health. According to the research published in PubMed Central by the United States National Institute of Health, resistance to herbicide and pests might have unwanted effects on the ecosystem and possibly also directly on the health, which means they kill the insects, which might eradicate the whole bunch of varieties of insects from our nature, and which will affect our ecosystem. Not only the bad insects, the other good insects like butterflies, which pollinates the other flowers, plants, they also might die off. Labeling the GM food evolving worldwide, but labeling the genetically modified food is evolving in the worldwide, but it's not mandatory in the United States. According to Jill J. Mikulski and Oromi Ochi, in the report about the publication in the publication about the report in the food in Japan, the Japanese new system of labeling GM food went effect on April 1, 2001, and we still don't have it. Now let's see what we can do to solve this problem. Selecting naturally grown or organic foods, we can help us as a consumer to live our healthy life. Today, more people prefer organic food. That's why we see most organic segments or more organic departments in our grocery stores. Even people are not worried about paying little more prices for them. According to Jill McCulsey again, it says that in Japan, a large export market, the US export market, there has been growing public opposition against genetically modified food. Consumer wanted 60% discount on genetically modified soybeans and 62% discount on genetically modified tofu, and they are willing to pay a little more on naturally grown products. According to Jeffrey Smith, in his article, a statement published in his Sentiment Times in August 2004, genetically engineered food may pose a health risk, and due to the Japan's demand, that manufacturer has actually responded positively, and they start supplying natural food to them instead of genetically modified food. And in the webmd.com, according to John Regnall, the professor of soil science in Washington State University, says organic and naturally grown food are better for consumers because your chances of getting pesticides residues are much less with organic food compared to the genetically modified or the food which they use pesticides and herbicides. Now let's see how the result that we get, what result we get from avoiding the genetically modified food. We should try to reduce the consumption of genetically engineered modified food for our future. Like I said earlier, it crossbreeds the natural habitat or natural ecosystem too, which means we need to be aware of genetic pollution. That means the natural corn and the genetically engineered corn are grown in the same place. Now they crossbreed each other, and which is known as genetic pollution, and this effect is irreversible. Once it gets in nature, it's out of your hand. And report by George Sorborn from National Biodiversity Commission of Mexico. The research done by two separate teams found that transgenic DNA in 10% of corn plant sample in Oaxaca provenance describing as the world's worst case of genetic modification contamination due to the corn they import from the United States. So health risks of genetically modified foods are also researched in animals. Again, the rat-fed genetically modified corn had a blood cell problem with the blood cell formation, and genetically modified soy had the problem with the the liver cell formation. And twice the chicken which are fed the genetically modified food are died off compared to the naturally grown corn-fed chickens. Now I mentioned the way we should reject the GM food. Now let's see what we can do to change our food habits. Most of us, every day we consume the genetically modified food. If we continue consuming such food, we can be victim of infertile health issues. We can keep GM food out of our food menu if we become aware and tell our friends and family, and we can support the farmers which grow organic foods and uses natural techniques, and we can draw attention from local authorities so they mandate the local groceries to label genetically modified food or is not?